I just got off that bus here. I am back in Puntarenas. Specifically, I'm in El Roble. So I'm going to go back to the peninsula part I saw last time. But before I do that, I'm going to see what's in this direction. There's a couple things I want to see. We have a bicycle way here, a ciclovia. And I don't know if this is also for pedestrians, but it seems likely that it is. So until somebody yells at me to get out of the road, I'm going to walk along this. And incidentally, right there we can see some railroad tracks. So this is still a tourist area, but this is less obviously touristy than when you're right next to the beach. Another activities probably going on here. A lot of agricultural land close to here, etc. Also markedly hotter than San Jose. I can feel the air is thicker because I'm more than 1,000 meters lower. I'm at sea level, not at 1,200 meters. As you can see here, the railroad tracks have been covered by the road. So those tracks don't look like they've been used for a long time and couldn't be put back into use without a lot of effort. Something's happening here. What it is ain't exactly clear. Looks like the bridge washed out, which is maybe has something to do with that backlog of debris. As you can see, this path looks pretty new and modern, clean, well kept, but apparently there was a bridge there, or perhaps on the other hand they're planning to build a bridge there. I don't know. I've made comments about how the infrastructure here can be really nice in one place and then suddenly, boom. So that might be one of the things I'm looking for. There's the railroad tracks, and I know that there is an antique rail station. No idea whether that's it. That looks kind of small, so I am going to continue in this direction a little while. So these tracks come from the south, and then at the Puntarenas Peninsula they split off to the west, and then some of them continue north. But currently, as we saw, these tracks can't be used, and there is other blockages. And at one point you could take a train, a passenger train from San Jose to Puntarenas. Not now, but I do want to see if any of that old infrastructure is still here. But on the other hand, I'm also getting hot, and there's not much shade and breeze here. The air is dense and thick, so after a while I'm going to turn around and go back and walk along the peninsula where it will still be hot, but there will probably be a nice sea breeze. Incidentally, the road to the right, which continues northeast out of town, that is the road that goes through Esparza and then on to San Ramon, where we were a couple weeks ago, and then back to San Jose. And that's the indirect route that buses take because they stop at all those cities. And it already looks like we are getting out of the touristy part. Over there I can see something that looks like a factory. So I'm probably going to walk about that far and then turn around. So specifically, if you are curious, that is a cooking oil factory. Agriculture is very important business in Costa Rica. So this is not what I'm looking for, but we have the free zone of Puntarenas, basically a tariff-free manufacturing or storage and shipping point. So as is often the case when I'm looking for something, well, two things are true. First, it looked a lot closer on the map. I thought it would just be a quick jaunt back and then there and back. And then the second point is I don't want to be 100 feet short of it. I don't want to go home and look at the map and say, oh, I missed it by 100 feet. So I keep on going just a little bit further, and I should stop doing that because I don't want to get exhausted chasing something that actually might not even be there. And that might have just been the antique train station we saw. Okay, and I think there's also a large hospital complex close to here. But it looks like I passed the center of town, so I am going to turn around here this way. And for reference, all this was like 25 minutes or so. Not a long walk. Oh, now on the way back, I'm also getting a little bit of breeze. That will help. I also could get a city bus, and it would probably be cheap. I have monedas. But one thing is I would have to wait, and waiting can sometimes be more miserable than walking. So I'm just going to continue this way. So one thing about the United States, especially, you know, the Pacific Northwest, a lot of times I go places and I say, oh, well, if it wasn't the middle of winter or the middle of summer, if it was a cool day in spring or a brisk day in autumn, that'd be the best time to visit. But as far as I know, we're 10 degrees from the equator here, and we're at sea level. It's always going to be, I'd say right now it's about 80 Fahrenheit. It's always going to be somewhere around 80 Fahrenheit and probably pretty humid here. Not a surprise, but we have some type of gecko running there. Probably I will see many more of those today. Well, it looks like I'm entering back into the town part of town. I kind of forgot how long this route was. I could be just a couple blocks, or maybe it's like half a mile, but not too far. I think I will need to stop and drink some water. I did bring some fluids, but it was like after 5 or 10 minutes of walking, I was like, yep, I'm gonna need more fluids today. So I bought 3 600 milliliter bottles of water. Normally I feel silly spending money on water. I'm from the 80s. You can do that unless you're going camping, but I would feel more silly if I didn't spend that money and I ended up collapsing or just having a terrible headache tomorrow. And at this point, my goal, I'm walking along the railroad tracks here apparently. Now my goal is to find how I can get the road that leads to the peninsula and not get on like a dangerous highway. I believe there is a pathway there, but I guess, as is often the case, I'm about to find out. So this is something I noticed actually the first time I came here. I want to make note of it. Right there we have some type of lingerie or undergarment boutique, an optician, and then the radiologists. And notice that radiologist shop looks like it could be any other shop. So I thought, you know, Costa Rica has cheap healthcare, and one reason is a lot of times, you know, they're not pretentious about it. In the U.S., among other reasons, we pay a lot of money for fancy-looking buildings and medical care. However, I'm not an expert on that. I just wanted to show an example of that is evident. And I do not know where I'm going. I am in some shade, though, which is really nice. I do know that this overpass is where I want to go, and I know that much. And here it looks like we have an entrance. In the U.S., I would probably not do this. It's not clearly marked. Don't like walking up on highway entrances. But here, I have to do it one way or another. And as you can see, people are kind of casual about traffic here. So I'm going to turn onto this road. And I believe from what I saw before, there is some type of path or something. I don't want to be walking along a highway shoulder forever. But as with so much, that's what we have to see. Okay, score. It looks like maybe there was a way I could have approached it differently. But now I am on a bike path, and things are going smoothly is the idea. And my only hope is that I do get like a little bit of a breeze and there is some shade. Okay, so I know for some people focusing on a lizard every time one crosses my path might seem silly. Like somebody went to Eugene and took a video of every time they saw a squirrel. But to me it's still interesting. Unfortunately, one of the reasons they're probably here is that people are discarding garbage, but I am still interested in them. In fact, is that one up there? Oh no, that's a bird. Okay, birds are different than lizards. It's okay, honey, I'm not a threat. Okay, but you're gonna move anyway. You don't trust people, good move. Anyway, so I'm still walking before the peninsula, and pretty soon is the crossing point of the peninsula, and then we'll be able to see both water on both sides. And I don't know how far that is because I came here on a bus, and a bus, even a slow-moving bus, you go 2 or 3 minutes, and it seems like it's a snap. It could be longer before we get to the beach part of the beach. might have taken a wrong turn. Might have to go back this way. So at that interchange, when I went up on there, I was actually supposed to go straight, and this road actually kind of twisted and turned around. Normally it wouldn't bother me too much. One thing though is that, you know, it is hot, so every extra foot I have to walk, let alone every extra mile, does take something out of me. Also, as I pointed out before, I don't have data on my phone, and some of these decisions could be easier if I did. I did ask somebody though, which was nice. Pretty basic question, but I'm always a little bit afraid of asking people questions. Anyway, so I'm going to walk back this way and let's see if we can get to Puntarenas, get to the peninsula. Another thing is if I do get too tired, there are buses to and fro, so I can ride the rest of the way if I find a bus stop. So down there is the tracks. That's the tracks that go to the west. And if I would have just turned around when I got on this road, I would have seen this sign that said Puntarenas. So I'm assuming this sidewalk continues. And I'm assuming that this time I know where I'm going. But I've been wrong before. So you can see right to my right, those are the railroad tracks. And apparently the path just continues this way, so I'm just going to keep walking. So here, as I continue westward, we do have a combination of breeze and shade, although both are a little more intermittent than I would like. So, like I said before, I think when I was in an incorrect location, when I took the bus here before, this section of the trail only seemed to be, you know, 2 or 3, 5 minutes, something like that. And it could have been walking along. It seems like I've been walking for a while. At least I know I'm going in the right direction. Okay, I had to throw in the towel. I don't know if it was obvious from my voice, but I started getting really tired. Don't want to end up sick, exhausted, so I'm going to take a bus to the terminal. Don't know what I'll do when I get there. By the way, this is the bus shelter. I just got off that bus. I'm in Puntarenas proper. I made pretty stupid plans today. I had backup plans and those worked, but I made some pretty stupid plans. I'll tell you more after I've gathered myself. It's a terminal. So, I think that's the terminal, not just a terminal. So, couple problems today. I made plans and I was like looking at a map and thinking what I could do theoretically. Last time I was here, I was only here for a couple hours, so I just walked around this part and I was like, well, I want to see more. So that entire first part of the mission where I was going through El Roble and not in a very pleasant, restful place, that took a lot out of me. Then I got lost. And then, even without that, the walk from the mainland up the peninsula was longer than I thought it was. Well, there's the beach. That certainly makes me feel more calm. So one other mistake, other than it being too long, just force of habit from being in Oregon, where you go, when I go to like the coast, it's always 20 Fahrenheit and sometimes 20 Celsius cooler. That's not the case here. It is hotter than San Jose, which is pretty warm. So I got pretty tired pretty quickly walking around. So I guess one thing I'm going to take away from this is a lot of times in the U.S. I would just hit up a lot of things, see how I could make a trip, do things a little bit off-center. Here, though, you know, because I have been tired out so many times, maybe I should focus on the things I really want to do, which right now is some ice cream. So you're seeing the fence as well. Right now I'm too tired. I do not want to stand up. I have a ticket back for half an hour. Anyway, so yeah, sometimes it's good, especially because I have a limited time here, to really push things and see how much I can see you know, I want to see more than just the average tourist spots. And that's one thing, is that when I came here to Puntarenas the first time, I just walked around the tip of the peninsula. And I wanted to see all of that beach, but I set about it the totally wrong way. Anyway, I'm making these mistakes so that other people don't have to. This is what happens when you travel to a foreign country and have a vague impression of distances and the climate and just the terrain. So right now I'm getting to see this restful beach, but I certainly did go through some hoops to get here, and in all I've been here 3.5 hours before I head back. So hopefully, along with my own travails and some advice for travelers, I also showed a little bit of Puntarenas, that the area, and I don't know where the canton is and all of that, the entire province is Puntarenas and there's the canton as well, shows that it's more than just the tip of the beach, and it's more than just lizards. So hopefully that was helpful. But I guess the main takeaway, yeah, when you're a tourist or new to a place, or even have been to a place for a while, sometimes your estimates can be really off and you can get yourself in some trouble. Anyway, so I am going to take a little walk down to the beach. Then I'm going to go and wait for my bus, because right now I'm pretty tired and waiting is not a problem. Getting dark, almost 6. Last few scenes were all kind of scrambled, didn't really get to describe how I was leaving. Kind of a long ride back. But now I am in this park, a couple blocks north of the station. And not to put too fine of a point on it, but my goal right now is to get home. I took a trip today. It was not the trip I wanted, but it was a trip. I learned something. Hopefully you did too. Now I'm going to put my camera away. I'm by Mall San Pedro in the Circunnavigación. I made a decision that might not have been the smartest decision, which is by the time I walked away from the busy part of town where I could wait for my bus, I was most of the way home. It's a Saturday night. I don't know how long I'd have to wait. So I decided to just keep walking. At this point, a certain point in fatigue, moving becomes less effort than waiting. I may be regretting that decision later. Usually when I make travel videos, I don't like to focus too much on myself. The focus should be on the community. But in a way, you know, this shows what traveling around Costa Rica is like. Distances that on paper seem to be pretty mild and that I would do all the time. And when I say transit, I mean both like bus trips and how far I can go on foot, have torn me apart here. And I need to learn my lesson about that. And that's no fault of Costa Rica. It's kind of my fault. Also, you know, I'm 44, turning 45 in a couple months. Maybe I should take a hint. Anyway, yeah, okay, that's it for the night, for real this time.